Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post these videos wherever. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They are master's level or PhD level. I have had fantastic feedback from people using them. So thank you, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, today's question is there a relationship between malingering and Munchausen by proxy? Well, malingering is when the person themselves pretends to have an illness. Okay, so that's malingering. So these are the ones that like pretend to have cancer. Okay, that's malingering. They don't have cancer, but they're pretending to have cancer to get money, to get sympathy, to get attention, that kind of thing. So that's malingering, to pretend to have an illness that you don't have. That's malingering. They do that themselves. Munchausen by proxy is where the person forces, it's a form of child abuse. It's when the parent, the caregiver, forces the child to have signs or symptoms of cancer. What else what are the other? Kidney disease, autoimmune diseases. Most often it's cancer. So if you ever watched The Sixth Sense, which is an old movie by now, but so in The Sixth Sense, the little boy could see this little girl whose mother had been poisoning her. And so he kind of was able to expose the mom as being the murderer in the movie. But the mother was poisoning her and constantly going to the hospital and constantly, and people were coming up to her and being like, oh, you're such a saint. You take such good care of your little one and, this, that, and the other thing. And we're so sorry for her loss and blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, it turned out that the mother was the one that was poisoning the girl to be sick in order to get the attention. So that's Munchausen by proxy. That's what the by proxy means. It's like, it's okay, you're doing it to a child and not to yourself. So with malingering, it's an adult or a teenager or whatever pretending to have an illness when they don't. Let me look up the definitions for you so you understand the difference. Okay. Malingering is the intentional fabrication or exaggeration of physical or psychological symptoms to gain an external benefit, such as avoiding work, getting money, or evading legal responsibility, or also getting attention. Intentional. It is intentional. It is not unintentional. Malingering is a deliberate act, not a mental illness. Exaggeration or fabrication. Malingerers may either exaggerate existing symptoms or fabricate new ones. External gain. The primary motivation for malingering is to achieve a specific benefit, such as financial compensation, avoiding military service, or obtaining drugs, getting money, getting sympathy. It's intentional. All right. Diagnosing malingering can be challenging as it requires careful evaluation. Inconsistencies or changes in symptoms are kind of a red flag. Lack of cooperation with treatment or testing, exaggerated or improbable symptoms, a history of previous malingering episodes, etc. With Munchausen by proxy, let me go over here. Boop. Okay. Munchausen by proxy is a mental illness. It is a form of child abuse as well. The caretaker of a child, most often the mother, not always, but most often the mother, either makes up fake symptoms or causes real symptoms to make it look like the child is sick. Sometimes the person was abused, but sometimes they weren't. There's no nature, nurture. We don't know why somebody decides to go off the rails and do that. The caretaker can do extreme things to fake symptoms of an illness in a child. For example, the caretaker may add blood to the child's urine or stool, withhold food so that the child looks like they can't gain weight, heat up thermometers so it looks like the child has a fever, make up lab results, give the child drugs to make the child throw up or have diarrhea, infect an intravenous IV line to make the child sick. What are the signs in the caregiver? Most people with this problem are mothers with small children. Some are adult children taking care of an older parent. The caretakers often work in the healthcare field and know a lot about medical care. They can describe the child's symptoms in great medical detail. They like to be very involved with the healthcare team, and they are liked by the staff for the care that they give the child or whoever they're taking care of. These caretakers are very involved with their children. They seem devoted, but this makes it hard for healthcare professionals to see a diagnosis of Munchausen by proxy. What are the signs in the child? The child sees a lot of healthcare providers and has been to the hospital multiple times. The child often has had many tests, surgeries, or other procedures. The child has strange symptoms that don't fit with any disease. The symptoms do not match the test results. The child's symptoms are reported by the caretaker. They are never seen by healthcare professionals. The symptoms are gone in the hospital, but start again when the child goes home. Blood samples do not match the child's blood type. Drugs or chemicals are found in the child's urine, blood, or stool. To diagnose Munchausen by proxy, providers have to see the clues. They have to review the child's medical records and see what has happened to the child over time. Very often, Munchausen syndrome by proxy goes undiagnosed. Basically, the treatment is the child needs to be taken away from this person. They may need to be removed from the direct care of the caregiver in question. Children may be required medical care to treat complications from injuries, infections, medicines, surgeries, or tests. They also need psychiatric care to deal with the depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder that can happen with child abuse. Treatment often involves individual and family therapy. Because this is a form of child abuse, the syndrome must be reported to authorities. So if you think a child is being abused, contact a provider, a therapist, a police officer, Child Protective Services, call 911. You can also call the National Hotline. Crisis counselors are available 24/7. This would be 1-800-4-A-CHILD. That's 1-800-4-A-CHILD, which is 1-800-422-4453. So there that is. So yeah. So Munchausen by proxy is where they go and harm a child to get attention, sympathy, money in some cases. It's not, how do I explain this? They give off all of the signs of being a great parent. Oh, I'm so involved and I'm so this, I'm so... Really, they're there so that they can cover their tracks and so that they can continue the illness, so that they can continue to get the attention and things like that. It's mostly intention driven more than money driven. The other one, malingering, is more, I'm getting out of doing something, I'm getting money for that, I'm getting attention for that. But really it's not so much the attention, it's more, I'm getting out of doing something, or I'm getting compensation for it. Whereas Munchausen by proxy is more, oh, I'm getting all the attention. They're telling me what a great mom I am, or a great dad. Guys do this too. So, yeah. So there is that. I hope that answered your question. They kind of do the same thing, but one is self-directed and the other one is outside directed. So I hope that answered your question. So on Sunday, I'm going to be talking about death, taxes, and inheritance. So we're going to be talking about when narcissists age and when they eventually, God willing and the creek don't rise, pass from this mortal coil. The devastation they leave behind, especially if they decide to do it on their own. Like, for example, they complete suicide. They love to cause chaos. They want things on their own terms. We're going to talk about that. They love to leave people feeling guilty. They love to leave people feeling sad and hurt and devastated because, again, your emotions are their cocaña. So we're going to talk about all that so you can prepare yourself and not fall victim to their nasty, mortal manipulations. So anyway, that is that. You guys have a great week, and I will talk to you on Sunday.